This is my Chapter 11 Human Resources Management Summary. Chapter 11 was on rewarding performance. Um, Everything from challenges to solutions to how to handle it small companies to how to handle it in big companies. And then the variety of different plans offered to employees throughout. So, starting with the pay for performance. Goodness. So there's three basic assumptions that the PowerPoint goes over. Individual employees and work teams differ in how much they contribute. This causes a lot of errors. I guess a lot of negative energy among each other because you think my job's more important than the other person's job, and that person's thinking his job doesn't matter. Um, my job matters a lot more. I see a lot of errors um, in this situation, and obviously that's an assumption. In a team dynamic, you obviously want everybody to be recognized. You want everybody to feel that power, that they matter. Number two, the firm's overall performance depends on the performance of individuals and groups. Uh, a lot of times this is the case. I personally think this is the case. Obviously, there's other contributing factors, but this is a big factor and one that matters when it comes to rewarding performance. Number three, to attract, retain, and motivate high performance, rewards given relative to performance. Um, I think a lot of times it's really hard to analyze performance within certain companies. It's easy to come up with a system as it pertains to how well is this person doing their job when it comes to what are we seeing rewards wise from them? What are we getting back as a company? But in reality, probably 75% of the jobs aren't going to have that position, that maybe a salesman is in. You can see them on paper, they're making this much money, but somebody that may be working in the HR department, um, a lower level person in HR that's just dealing with pricing, like a pricing specialist, may not get the reward. You can't see firsthand the direct impact of the company. So I think that's complicated. Um, Incentives may cause unethical behaviors. Um, did I say incentives? Either way, incentives may cause unethical behaviors. So the homework dealt with this a little bit. I think absolutely it does. People are constantly going to look for ways to not improve performance, but make more money. It's an unfortunate detail, I guess, gift that we have as human beings dealing with constant monetary power. Whoever has the most money has the most status, whatever it may be, which is absolutely ridiculous. I'm not saying I agree with it whatsoever, but people are constantly going to look for shortcuts to incentivize themselves. They find the shortcut to making sure that their performance looks better than this person. So the challenges overall, um, basically my job is better than your job, unethical behavior, uh, negativity placed on other people, and then negatively placed upon management, and then vice versa, management placing negativity on their employees. No control over performance can be complicated, or no control over how you're going to dictate incentives. Difficulties in measuring performance, I think this is key because I think a lot of people think they know what their employees are doing, but in reality they don't. Psychological contracts, people are going to have issues with different things, incentivizing different things. And they're going to have issues along the way in life. How do you incentivize something when somebody's going through something, psychologically? The credibility gap. How much does this person matter as it pertains to this person? And how much work did this person do as opposed to this one? And it may not look that way on paper, but in reality, one did more work than the other. Job dissatisfaction and stress. Obviously, there's going to be stress when it comes to incentives. I think that's a part of the workforce. I think that's something you just kind of have to buckle down and handle. Um, Whether or not it's fair, corporate America is competitive. Potential reduction of intrinsic drives. People are constantly chasing after some type of reward. This is a huge problem. They should be positively going after something that they once dreamed of, positively going after career path that they may have taken, chasing those goals, chasing those dreams, as opposed to chasing that bonus at the end of the quarter. So here's some solutions to the challenges. Um, these solutions are interesting to me because I feel like not necessarily that they don't work, but you need application to truly understand them. So use intrinsic and extrinsic awards. So you utilizing both. How are you going to intrinsically motivate somebody? How do you understand how they tick, and what corporations managers are understanding that much about their lower level employees? Link pain performance appropriately. Once again, I feel like there's a huge gap between understanding how much one performs, and it's one that HR has to deal with consistently, and one that they have to find a solution to. You have to figure out a way to measure certain employees' performance. You can't measure somebody in quality assurance's performance the same way you can measure a salesman's performance. Um, Build employee trust. Obviously, this is essential. I think building employee trust can be a solution to all of these challenges. If they trust you, you trust them. There's a dynamic there that you can work together. You can understand how they're operating, not just physically, but also mentally and emotionally. Understand what's going on up top. Are they motivated to do this job? Are they motivated by the paycheck? You can learn a lot just by building trust within different relationships. Um, Performance makes a difference. Promote that. Obviously, you have to make sure that everybody's recognized. Everybody knows that their job matters and how impactful it can be at the end result. Use multiple layers of rewards. I don't see how this benefits anybody. Obviously, it indicates a competitive drive, and I don't know that that's necessary among different people in an operation. Maybe among just certain departments like sales. This person, the highest performing salesman receives this as opposed to the lowest. Something like that could work, but among a whole company, I'm not sure how that would work. Increase employee involvement. Obviously, everybody wants to be involved. The homework touched on this a lot, as well as the video reaction. Ethics and then motivation, non-financially. This is something you got to dig deep and find. I think this starts right from the application process. You have to find somebody that's going to go the extra mile for the company, that's going to chase something within the company. They're motivated each and every day. Then it kind of goes into plans, individual-based plans, team-based plans, the advantages, disadvantages of them. There's always going to be a human emotion factor. That is the disadvantage of all of these. Whether that be goals, people don't want to come to work, or even stuff like psychological factors. Why am I even doing this job? Stuff like that. With individual and team-based plans, I think it's all psychological issues. I think it's all going to promote this incentive idea that this person's job matters than the other person. That doesn't have an impact on team dynamic in a positive way whatsoever. There's plant-wide plans. I really don't see the advantage to any of these plans. I see a lot of disadvantages, but once again, I'm not involved in corporate America whatsoever. So it's easy to see the negative side of things when you're not involved in them, but there has to be some type of incentive plan is what I'm getting from this. It's really important for small and big companies. Thank you.